So here we go. Welcome my students, this is your first class of Chinese language. I welcome you here on a Chinese department or Department of Asian Studies. And I would like to introduce myself firstly. So my name is Zdeněk Chmelka and I actually started my Chinese language training here also at the Palacký University a few years ago, and I spent here 2 years. Then I received some scholarship and visited China, but actually I stayed in China for 5 years, and my bachelor degree and master degree was obtained there. I received my degree in China. And after that, I also traveled to South Korea and studied the Korean language for 1 year and spent there sometimes in some Korean temples and so on. So that was my university studies, 6.5 years in Asia, plus 2 years here at Palacký University. And I will be your teacher of Chinese language. And because I've spent some time in Asia and I was quite influenced by local culture and traditional way of some kind of discipline, let's say, I will use this kind of rules and this discipline, which I also use and apply in my life, my daily life, to teach you here. So at the beginning, it could be seen that it's quite a rough style of system teaching, because I will have some kind of rules for you. Rules, like we have Christian rules. Yeah, there are some rules in the Christianity. There are some moral rules or moral codex of in Buddhism, or you have some moral codex of warrior. If you become a warrior, or some kind of, you are studying with a teacher of martial arts, then you will have to also have some moral codex. And if you are a yoga student, then there is codex of yama niyama, some codex of rules of moral principles. So that's the first thing. The second thing is that when I will be teaching here, I require all of you to listen carefully, because Chinese is not an easy language to grasp. And don't play with your phones or with your tablets, whatever, computers, and listen carefully what I say here. So I strongly require you to use like airplane modes on your devices and only use them for the purpose of using Palacký dictionary to follow the stroke orders or something like that. And another rule would be, or advice, prepare carefully for every lesson. So we will have tests every week for Chinese characters, some sentences and some dialogues, and study carefully for that. It's for your good and for your own benefit. Because after that there will be a final exam test. But if you prepare carefully for each lesson, then the final test will be quite easy for you. So that's why to have some moral codex or some kind of rules at the beginning, it seems quite demanding, which a human being's mind don't or doesn't want to accept, because it's quite lazy, or it's the mind wants to have some convenient life, especially in the modern times. But after you grasp that kind of codex or these rules, the life becomes much more easier for you, because this is kind of tools which helps you to drive the road ahead for you. So, in a Chinese, the first word we will study or you will learn this lesson will be 老师, 老师, lao. Literally, this word means old. But From the perspective of Chinese culture, it means all, because all people have a plentiful spectrum of knowledge, of experience, many pieces of experience. So that's the true meaning of word Lao. So have some knowledge of experience, and Shi is from word Shifu also. From martial arts we can say Shifu, or in Cantonese is Sifu. And this means like kind of teacher or master, or also it means some example or model for you, for the learners. So 老师, it's a person, some kind of master, skillful person who have plentiful or rich experience, background, and he is an example who gives you or transmit you the knowledge or pass the knowledge to you. And Shi we can also count as a kind of suffix, honorifical suffix, so your respect term or addressing your teacher or your master. Okay, that's the first word, 老师. But the true meaning or spiritual meaning of the word 老师 is kind of person who attract the people living around him, and those people are searching this kind of 老师 because they see or they have seen his lifestyle, and the lifestyle of 老师 attracts those people, because this lifestyle is concentrated on endless learning, self-learning, self-education, self-mastering, and the true 老师 live the way which he teaches. That's the very important thing. And if you search for some master of martial arts, calligraphy teacher, language teacher, dancing teacher, or whatever, and this teacher doesn't live the way he teaches, it should not be a true 老师 for you, as you can understand. And the true teachers or master in yoga, maybe it's called guru, has a method how to awaken in yourself to become your own teacher. So, if Asia, you live in a Buddhist monastery, or you live with in guru in India, or you live some traditional master of martial arts, and this teacher will also at the beginning require some kind of obedience from you. He will set you some kind of rules you should follow. And for the mind, it's quite like demanding or not pleasant at the beginning. So many students can give up at the beginning. So that will be the case also of you here, probably. But if you continue in this training, after some time you realize that your life is changing rapidly. And if the teacher decides after few years of studies to pass all the knowledge he knows, because the true teacher wants you to be a bit better or reach a higher skill than his own or himself. That's the true teacher who wants you to be better than him. And also you will become the teacher, and you will require also your students to be better than you. So that means your students and the people who will study with you and your students will grow up in knowledge and in discipline. So that requires, or that will cause in the effect that the human beings will not lost all the knowledge and go down with all the lifestyle, all the knowledge, all the moral codex which you can see all around you in the modern society. But that's the tradition requires you to go up with this, okay? And the second thing, as I told you, to recognize the true teacher is he will try to awaken the true teacher in yourself. And after that, it's not about to become teacher, it's not about to come somewhere and say, okay, I want to teach, I will be a teacher, I like it. It's a part of this job or this stuff. But the true meaning of becoming teacher or 老师 is that you are endlessly working on yourself, on your self-mastery, self-education, self-training, and the people who know you or are around of you, they will see you are different in a positive way of life. And they would like to be like you, like a teacher, and they will start to ask you for advice or to ask you to become their teacher. That's the true meaning of the teacher, of 老师. You understand? And understand is the second word. We will, or you will study this in this lesson, in my first lesson of Chinese. And it's 明白, 明白. Ming, if you look at the character Ming, you can see that this character is composed of two parts. On the left part we call it sun, or also that means it's day. And day and sun are connected together because sun brings a light to the day and is connected somehow with time, yeah? Time expression also. And on the right part of the character there is a yue, which means moon. And if you join together sun and moon, what does it mean? It means the sun supports us not only with some kind of warmth, but also it gives us, it radiates a light. And the moon also reflects the light of the sun, so they are yin and yang. They are beneficial to each other, and that means to give a bright light, to illuminate. And if you get illuminated, that means that you have grasped something very deeply, understood very well, and you are very clear in what was said and done. You was illuminated. 白 means white, or also kind of bit clear. It looks similar, like a sun character, but there is one more stroke. So brightly clear. Do you understand? So if you want to reply, you just say 明白了. I was illuminated. I got it. I can understand very deeply. I am very clear about it. 明白了吗? Do you understand what I want to tell you here in this first lesson? Okay. 了 is a part of grammar which is quite difficult to grasp in Chinese grammar. Chinese grammar is quite easy, let's say. That's quite good news for you because you have enough characters, phonetics, pronunciation, and load of kind of vocabulary. So don't worry, it's not like Korean or Japanese grammar, don't worry, but le is quite important to understand. So later, because this is our first lesson, so later we will divide the le at least into two kinds of le, which will be le like a kind of let's say some kind of modal aspect where something clarifies that some activity was set and done, and another kind of le will have something to do with some kind of change of state from one situation to another situation, and it's quite even more deeper to understand and grasp this grammar, but don't worry about it, I will explain very clearly for you later. 明白了吗? Ma is a grammatical particle which means how we can produce or make a question. So there is a question mark. Can you see a question mark? 明白了吗? Have you grasped it? Is it clear for you? Are you illuminated by the truth I'm telling you? And your answer should be 明白了. 我明白了. 我 later means me. 明白了. Dot. Finish. Or 不明白. 不 is a negative form, a negation of 不. I don't grasp it. I don't take it. Or 没明白. 我没明白. 没 will be connected to 没有. And I didn't get it. I haven't grasped it. Still, I was not illuminated by the words you tell me here. So I hope all of you can say 明白了. I understood you very well. Also, if you want to study Chinese language, I strongly recommend to you not just to be concentrated on the language itself, but you should find some kind of, let's say, some point which you will follow, or you will follow the way how to reach the point you want. That means, for example, that you choose something which is very interesting for you from the Chinese culture. That means some kind of calligraphy, some kind of traditional Chinese medicine, Chinese martial arts, or kung fu or wushu, you can say. If you like Chinese music, like traditional instrument or even modern music, if you like history of Chinese emperors or even modern history, why is China in the situation or in the mode like it is now? What became in the history, what happened in the past, Chinese food, cooking, or traveling. I recommend strongly to you to choose one of the section or one part of this Chinese culture and start to be very interested in this part. If you are not now, maybe many of you have already some interest in Chinese culture and that's why you are here. But some of you, maybe you are only hesitating and trying. I will try the Chinese language, it's quite popular. There are so many Chinese speakers in the world. I want to try, but don't only try, because you will not manage to graduate from this school. It will be very difficult and demanding for you. That's my advice. If you want to do a business in China, okay, that's true. Okay, just go on for the language, but try to understand the culture itself. I strongly recommend you to visit the country, to travel there, to speak to those people in taxi drivers, people on the street, with your teachers, 老师 in China, make many friends in China, travel there, try the local food in many regions of China, try to understand the ethnic minority groups in China, talk to them, ask them why they are living like that, why they are wearing the clothes like that, what's their traditional music, what's their religion. Try to visit temples in China, try to visit some mountain areas, or try to understand maybe feng shui a bit, or modern lifestyle in big cities like Shanghai, Beijing, and so on. That's the very important part of your studies. Not just sit here. You are sitting in classroom from 6-year-old until now. But sitting is very, how to say, in one way it's very yin kind of teaching, because you are only passive. You are getting information to digest. There is not too much about young, active participation. So I will require you to be also more young students and to be very active on my classes. Not only sitting and listening, but also expressing yourself. Don't worry about expressing your ideas. Moreover, the teacher 老师, I'm here for you to help you with your difficulties. So just let me know. If there is something you don't understand, don't worry to ask me. When I was in China or when I was studying, I always asked the teacher. Even sometimes it took 20 minutes. I asked, why is it like this? Why I don't understand this? Can you tell me or could you explain me? I still don't know what's the difference between these two words. I cannot say I know everything, but if I know the answer, I will try to do my best to explain to you. Do you understand? Please don't worry about this. Even after this class finishes, just don't worry to search for me in my office or write me an email, and I will be here for you. It's also part of Laosh's work, my teacher's job, my duty. Do you understand? So, if you want to become, for example, an interpreter or translate some text, Chinese, English, Chinese, Czech Chinese, and so on, you have to understand the cultural background, because the interpreting, it's not only about to listen and directly translate. You can be quite a good interpreter or translator, but if you don't grasp the culture background, you will do many mistakes, and there will be some kind of misunderstanding. You will maybe correctly transfer or interpret the sentence into your own language, but the native speaker's idea will be quite different from that what he's saying, and it's very important in Asian culture, like China, Korea, Japan. Those people sometimes they say something, they call it weiwan, like kind of way which is not direct, because they don't like to offer to offend you, so they tell you something very politely. But if you don't understand this kind of politeness or this polite manners or kind of cultural background, historical names and whatever, your interpretation and your translation will not be 100% correct. Do you understand me? That's why it's quite important to be an expert of kind of sinology. And if this is your dream, just go on and follow your Tao. Tao means kind of a way, like a universal principle which leads you to fulfill your mission here in this life. And maybe not all of you will reach the end here, because there is no end. The Chinese culture, Chinese language, and whatever you study in your life is endless, limitless. That's why the teacher has to always to improve himself. Understand? But maybe some of you, they will say, okay, it's not my cup of tea here to be here. I really don't understand. It's very difficult. I really don't want to spend my life with this stuff. It's also okay, don't worry about it. This is only university, nothing more, only university. And don't want to be here only for the purpose to get some paper, some degree, some kind of diploma. Because it's quite important for your life or job career. But from the point of view of your life mission, why I was born here in this country, in this world, in this time, it's useless to have some kind of diploma, some kind of paper, some kind of degree. The most important is your knowledge, your skills, your understanding, and getting some illumination, 明白. That's the way you should follow always in your life, whatever you want or whatever you do, and apply to your daily life. So I hope that will be enough for today's beginning or introduction. We will see with each other next lesson. My Chinese name is also何俊梁. So some colleagues or students call me 何老师, but don't worry about that. You can use only Czech name, Chinese name. Everything is okay. I wish you good luck with your studies. If you have any question, just write me emails, let me know. And we will see each other on the next lesson. And I strongly recommend you to bring a good mood into your lessons. 放松 relief, like 放松 get calm. Don't be nervous. Release your state. And listen with your heart, not only with your brain, but try to digest all of this with your heart, with your mind. See you later. 再见。